The empty darkness of space stretched out before June Kim as he guided his small research vessel through the uncharted asteroid belt. Stars twinkled in the distance, cold and bright against the black canvas. June had been alone for 3 months now, collecting data for Earth's Space Research Center. "Computer, run another scan of Sector 7, June said, his voice breaking the silence of the cabin. He was a tall man with short black hair and eyes that showed both focus and kindness. "Scanning Sector 7, the computer replied in its flat voice. "Scan complete. Unusual energy signature detected on asteroid K42. June sat up straight in his chair. This was new. "Show me." A holographic display lit up, showing waves of strange energy coming from a medium-sized asteroid about 2 kilometers away. This was not normal radiation, this was something else. "Computer, take us closer to asteroid K42. Keep all shields up." The ship moved slowly through the asteroid field. June's heart beat faster as they approached. He had been trained for first contact situations but never expected to actually experience one. As the ship came within visual range, June saw it, a small silver object embedded in the rocky surface of the asteroid. It was clearly not a natural formation. "Computer, what am I looking at?" "Object appears to be artificial. Design unknown. Size approximately 8 meters in length. Detecting life signs." "Life signs?" June's mouth went dry. "Is it safe to approach?" "No. Immediate danger detected. However, caution is advised." June made his decision quickly. "Prepare the landing module. I'm going to investigate." 20 minutes later, June stood on the surface of the asteroid in his spacesuit. The silver object was indeed a small ship, or rather what remained of one. It appeared to be an escape pod of some kind, damaged by weapons fire. Its hull was punctured in several places, and a strange blue liquid leaked from one end. June approached carefully. Through a cracked viewport, he saw movement inside. Someone was alive in there. With careful movements, June found what appeared to be a door mechanism. It took him several minutes to figure out how to open it, but finally the damaged door slid open with a hiss of escaping air. Inside, lying on the floor, was a being unlike any June had ever seen. She, for the being looked female, had pale blue skin that seemed to glow faintly. Her face was humanoid but with larger almond-shaped eyes. Silver markings ran along her cheekbones and forehead. Her hair was white with streaks of light blue, floating around her head in the zero gravity. She wore what looked like a torn uniform of some kind, and blue blood seeped from a wound on her side. The alien's eyes fluttered open as June entered the pod. They were completely silver, with no visible pupils. Those eyes widened in fear when they saw June. "It's okay," June said, even though he knew she couldn't understand him. He raised his hands to show he meant no harm. "I'm here to help." The alien tried to move away but winced in pain. She was badly hurt and clearly frightened. June pointed to himself. "June," he said slowly. Then he pointed to his medical kit and made gestures to indicate helping with her wounds. The alien watched him with those strange silver eyes. Finally, she seemed to relax slightly. She pointed to herself. "Nara," she said in a musical voice. "Nara," June repeated. "I need to get you to my ship, you're hurt." Though she couldn't understand his words, Nara seemed to grasp his meaning. She nodded weakly. Getting her back to his ship wasn't easy. In her weakened state, Nara couldn't walk, so June had to carry her. The difference in gravity between the asteroid and his ship meant he had to be extremely careful. By the time they reached his medical bay, Nara had fallen unconscious again. The ship's medical scanner ran over her body. "Unknown physiology," the computer reported. "Some similarities to human biology detected. Patient has lost significant fluid. Wound appears to be from energy weapon. Internal damage to organs." "Can you treat her?" June asked, worry in his voice. "Basic treatment possible. Full healing uncertain due to unknown physiology." "Do what you can," June ordered. For the next 6 hours, June barely left the medical bay. He watched as the computer administered treatments, adjusting as it learned more about Nara's biology. Finally, her condition stabilized. June sat beside her bed, wondering who she was and where she had come from. What had attacked her ship? Were there others like her nearby? Nara's eyes opened suddenly. She sat up with a gasp, looking around in panic. "Hey, it's okay," June said softly. "You're safe." Nara stared at him, her silver eyes wide with fear and confusion. She spoke rapidly in a language June couldn't understand. The sounds were musical, but completely foreign. June reached for his universal translator device. It was designed to learn new languages through exposure. "I don't understand you yet," he said, showing her the device. "But this might help us talk to each other soon." Nara looked at the device with curiosity. She spoke again, more slowly this time. The translator made some processing sounds. "Danger, come and hide," it translated in broken English. "Danger? What danger?" June asked. Nara pointed to the viewport that showed the asteroid field outside. "Vorx," the translator managed. "Hunt. Us." June didn't understand, but he could tell she was afraid. "Who are you? Where are you from?" The translator worked hard to convert her answer. "Luminous science ship, attacked." Over the next few hours, as the translator improved, June learned more. Nara was a scientist from a species called the Lumen. Her research vessel had been attacked by a predatory species known as the Vorx, who hunted her kind for their natural bioluminescent properties. She had escaped in a pod while the rest of her crew fought to give her time. "My people hidden," she explained once the translator was working better. "Not many left." "And these Vorx? They hunt you?" "Why?" Nara's skin glowed brighter with emotion. "We have light within. They want it. Take it from us." June felt a chill. "And humans? Do they know about humans?" "Stories only. Old tales say humans are dangerous. Primitive, but strong." She looked at him with new curiosity. "You helped me. Why?" The question surprised June. "Because you needed help. That's enough reason." Nara tilted her head, not understanding. "No benefit to you." "Not everything is about benefit," June said. "Sometimes we just help each other because it's right." This concept seemed new to Nara. She was quiet for a long time, studying June's face. The silence was broken by a sudden alarm. The ship's computer announced, "Warning. Multiple vessels detected entering the asteroid field. Configuration unknown." Nara's face paled, her blue skin turning almost white. "Vorx," she whispered. "They found me." June moved quickly to the control room. On the scanner, he could see 3 large ships moving through the asteroid field, clearly searching for something. "We need to go," he said. "Now." As June fired up the engines, preparing to slip away, he realized his life had just changed forever. First contact had happened, and now he was involved in something much bigger than his research mission. He looked at Nara, who stood shakily in the doorway watching him. Their eyes met. 2 beings from different worlds now bound together by circumstance. "Hold on," June told her as the ship began to move. "We're going to make it through this." And as they accelerated away from the asteroid field, hiding their trail among the rocks, a partnership was born that would soon change the fate of 2 species. June's small research ship raced through space, staying close to the denser parts of the asteroid field to hide their trail. The Vorx ships were larger and couldn't follow them through the tightest passages between the floating rocks. "I think we lost them," June said after an hour of tense flying. He looked over at Nara, who sat in the co-pilot's seat. She still looked weak, but her color had improved. "Not for long," Nara replied through the translator. "Vorx are good hunters. They will find us again." June frowned. "Then we need to get far away from here. My ship is fast but not built for fighting." Just as he finished speaking, the communication system beeped loudly. "Incoming message from Earth Command," the computer announced. June's heart jumped. He hadn't reported his discovery of Nara yet. Did they somehow know? He pressed the receive button. The face of Admiral Lee appeared on the screen. The old man looked worried. Kim June, this is an emergency broadcast to all Earth vessels. Return to Earth immediately. We have detected multiple unknown ships entering our solar system. They are not responding to communication attempts and are moving directly toward Earth. All research missions are canceled. Return home now. The message ended, leaving June staring at a blank screen. He turned to Nara. Those ships heading to Earth, are they Vorx? Nara's skin flashed with patterns of blue light, a sign of her distress. Yes. They must have detected your planet. They always look for new worlds to conquer. But why Earth? We've never encountered them before. Vorx. Attack any advanced species they find, Nara explained. They see all others as threats or resources. She paused, her silver eyes meeting his. My people have hidden for generations because of them. Your people cannot hide a whole planet. June felt cold fear in his stomach. Earth had good defenses, but they had never faced an alien invasion. How dangerous are these Vorx? Very dangerous. Their weapons. Nara struggled for words the translator could handle. They can make stars die. June understood what she meant. The Vorx had weapons powerful enough to destroy stars, or at least small ones. Against such technology, Earth wouldn't stand a chance. I have to warn them, June said, turning to the controls. Give them more information about what they're facing. I will help, Nara said simply. Your kind helped me. I will help your kind. As the ship changed course for Earth, June sent a detailed message ahead, explaining that he had a Lumen refugee aboard with critical information about the Vorx threat. The response was immediate. Bring the alien to Earth Security Headquarters as soon as they arrived. The journey to Earth would take 3 days at top speed. During that time, June and Nara talked for hours. The translator got better at converting their languages, making conversation easier. Nara told June about her people, the Lumen. They were an ancient species with advanced technology but small numbers. Their home world had been destroyed by the Vorx centuries ago, and the survivors now lived on hidden stations and small colonies throughout the galaxy. We value knowledge and peace, she explained. We are not warriors. June told her about Earth and humans, their history, their many cultures, their strengths and weaknesses. He showed her pictures and videos on his computer. Your people are so different from each other, Nara observed. Different colors, different beliefs, different ways of living. Yet, you are one species? Yes, June said. We're very diverse, but we're all human. This makes no sense to Vorx thinking, Nara said. They believe uniformity is strength. Difference is weakness. That's not how we see it, June said. Our differences give us strength. Different perspectives, different ideas. These help us solve problems in new ways. Nara seemed fascinated by this concept. Perhaps this is why humans have survived when others have not. You adapt because you are not all the same. On the second day of their journey, they shared meals together. Nara couldn't eat most human food, but the ship's computer analyzed her biology and created simple nutrient solutions she could digest. As they ate, June asked, Do you have family waiting for you somewhere? Nara's skin dimmed slightly. No. My family group was on our science vessel. They are gone now. I'm sorry, June said softly. And you? Do you have a family group? Yes. My parents live in Seoul. That's a city on Earth. And my grandfather and grandmother run a small restaurant there. What is a restaurant? June smiled. It's a place where people go to eat food prepared by others. My grandparents make traditional Korean food. It's very good. I would like to see this restaurant someday, Nara said. Maybe you will, June replied, though he wasn't sure what would happen when they reached Earth. On the third day, as they approached Earth's solar system, the ship's long-range scanners detected the Vorx fleet. There were 5 large ships moving toward Earth, still several days away. They move slower than your ship, Nara observed. We will reach your planet before they do. That gives us time to prepare, June said. Will your information help us fight them? Nara's expression was serious. Maybe. I know their weaknesses, but their technology is far beyond yours. We're Good at fighting against bad odds, June said with a small smile. It's a human specialty. As they entered Earth's orbit, June saw his home planet through new eyes. Blue oceans, white clouds, green and brown land masses, all so fragile against the vast emptiness of space, all now threatened by an enemy they never knew existed. Military ships approached to escort them down to the surface. June looked at Nara and saw fear in her eyes. "What's wrong?" he asked. "You're military," she said. "Will they treat me as an enemy? Many species would." June reached across and touched her hand. It was the first time they had made direct contact. Her skin was smooth and warmer than he expected, with a slight tingling sensation like very mild electricity. "I won't let anyone hurt you," he promised. "You're here to help us. I'll make sure they understand that." Their ship landed at a secure facility in North America. Armed soldiers surrounded them as they exited the ship. Nara stayed close to June, her skin glowing with anxiety. A stern-looking woman in a general's uniform approached them. "Kim June, you are to report for debriefing immediately." She looked at Nara with suspicion. "The alien will be taken for examination." "With respect, General," June said firmly. "Nara is not a prisoner. She's a refugee who has valuable information about the enemy approaching Earth, and she stays with me." The general's eyes narrowed. "This is not a negotiation, Kim." "No, it's not," June agreed. "Either Nara stays with me and is treated with respect, or you lose the best source of intelligence on the Vorix that Earth has." For a tense moment, no one spoke. Then the general sighed. "Fine. You're both to report to the war room. The president is waiting." As they walked into the facility, Nara whispered to June, "Your people would challenge authority to protect a stranger?" "Not all of us," June admitted, "but the best of us would." For the first time since he'd met her, Nara smiled. It transformed her face, making her look younger and less alien. "Humans are strange," she said, "but I think I like your strangeness." June smiled back. "I think that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me." Together, they walked into the building, ready to face whatever came next, an unlikely alliance that might be Earth's only hope. The war room was filled with serious-faced people in uniforms and suits. They all turned to stare when June and Nara entered. Some looked curious, others hostile. President Park, a small woman with determined eyes, stood at the head of the large table. "Mr. Kim, thank you for bringing this information to us," she said. Then she looked at Nara. "And thank you for your willingness to help us, despite having no obligation to do so." Nara gave a small bow, something she had learned from June. "Your people helped me, I help in return." The next hours were filled with questions. Military leaders wanted to know about Vorix weapons, ships, and tactics. Scientists wanted to know about their biology and technology. Everyone wanted to know why they were attacking Earth. Vorix see all other life as either threat or resource, Nara explained through the translator. "They detected your communications in space. They see your technology growing. They attack now, before you become stronger." "How do we fight them?" asked a general. "What are their weaknesses?" Nara's skin flickered with blue patterns. "Their ships have weak points in the engine sections. Their soldiers cannot see well in bright light. But their weapons are very powerful. They have energy shields you cannot break with your weapons." The room grew quiet. The situation seemed hopeless. "Then we need new weapons," President Park said simply. "Mr. Kim, you and Nara will work with our top scientists and engineers. Find a way to fight these Vorix." "Yes, Madam President," June replied. As they left the war room, Nara whispered to June, "Your leader is small but strong." June smiled. "Size doesn't always show strength. Sometimes the smallest people have the biggest courage." They were taken to a large research facility where hundreds of scientists and engineers were already working. Dr. Han, the lead scientist, greeted them. "We need to understand Vorix technology," she said. "Can you help us?" Nara nodded. "I will try." For days they worked without much rest. Nara shared everything she knew about the Vorix. Their ships used a type of energy Earth scientists had never seen before. Their shields operated on principles that seemed impossible. "We cannot copy this," Dr. Han said, looking defeated. "We would need years to understand it. And we have days." Yoon was looking at a 3D model of a Vorx ship that Nara had helped create. "Then we don't copy it," he said. "We find a way around it." Nara tilted her head. "Around? I don't understand." "He means we look for a different approach," Dr. Han explained. "Something they won't expect." This idea excited the human scientists. They began thinking of unconventional ways to fight the Vorx. Nara watched with growing amazement as they suggested idea after idea, some ridiculous, some brilliant. "Your people think so, differently," she told June during a short break. "My people would look for the perfect solution. Your people try 100 imperfect solutions." "That's because we're used to being the underdog," June explained. "Throughout our history, humans have often had to fight against enemies with better weapons or more resources. We learned to be creative." "Underdog?" Nara asked, confused by the term. "It means someone who isn't expected to win, the weaker side in a fight." Nara considered this. "Lumen would hide if we could not win. Humans fight even when winning seems impossible." "Why?" June thought about it. "Because sometimes the impossible becomes possible if you try hard enough." 3 days later, they had a plan. It wasn't perfect, but it might work. Earth scientists had created a new type of weapon based on Nara's knowledge of Vorx shield technology. Instead of trying to break through the shields, the weapon would create a resonance pattern that would disrupt the shields from within. "It's like finding the right musical note to break a glass," Dr. Han explained to the military leaders. "We can't hit it hard enough to break it, but we can make it shatter itself." The Earth Defense Fleet was equipped with the new weapons as quickly as possible. But everyone knew they needed more than just weapons, they needed a strategy. "Vorx always attack in the same pattern," Nara told them. "They never change their tactics because they have always worked. Their minds are rigid." "Then we need to be unpredictable," said General Lee. "Hit them where they don't expect it." A plan formed. Earth would appear to defend in a traditional way, drawing the Vorx into a trap. Then smaller, faster ships would attack from multiple directions using the new weapons. The night before the Vorx were expected to reach Earth, June took Nara to meet his grandparents. It was risky to leave the base, but he had received special permission. His grandparents' restaurant was small but warm and inviting. When they saw Nara, their eyes widened in surprise, but they quickly recovered. "Welcome to our home," June's grandmother said, bowing to Nara. "Thank you for accepting me," Nara replied, bowing in return. They ate a simple meal together. June's grandfather had prepared special dishes that Nara could eat based on information from the scientists. "You are far from home," his grandmother said to Nara. "That must be hard." "I have no home now," Nara said sadly. "My world is gone. My people hide in small groups among the stars." "Then maybe you can find a new home," the old woman said gently. "Sometimes where we end up is better than where we began." After dinner, June took Nara to the small garden behind the restaurant. The night was clear, and stars filled the sky. "Tomorrow, those stars will see a battle," June said quietly. "Are you afraid?" Nara asked. "Yes," June admitted. "But fear doesn't stop humans from doing what's necessary. My people would say fear is wisdom, it keeps us safe." "Sometimes being safe isn't enough," June said. "Sometimes you have to risk everything for something better." Nara was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Before I met you, I didn't understand why the Vorx feared humans despite your lesser technology. Now I begin to understand. You don't accept limits. You don't surrender to fear." June looked at her. In the moonlight, her blue skin glowed softly. Her silver eyes reflected the stars. He realized that in the short time he had known her, his feelings had grown into something more than friendship. "There's something else humans are good at," he said softly. "Finding hope in dark times. Finding connection where none seemed possible." Nara's Skin brightened slightly, showing her emotion. Connection. Yes, I feel this too. Their hands found each other and held tight. They were from different worlds, different species, but in that moment, none of that mattered. A loud beeping broke the silence. It was June's communicator. The Vorx. Fleet has entered Earth orbit, said the voice of General Lee. They will attack at dawn. Report back to base immediately. June looked at Nara, their moment of peace shattered by the reality of what was coming. We should go, she said. Yes, he agreed. But before they left the garden, he leaned forward and gently pressed his forehead against hers, a gesture of affection, among her people that she had told him about. For luck, he said. Her skin glowed brighter. For hope, she replied. Together they returned to the base, ready to face whatever tomorrow would bring. Earth's future, and their own, would be decided when the sun rose. The first light of dawn revealed the Vorx ships hovering over Earth. They were massive, each one bigger than the largest human ships. Their dark metal hulls reflected no light, seeming to swallow the sun's rays. 5 of them formed a pattern in the sky that could be seen from the ground with the naked eye. In the command center, June and Nara stood with Earth's military leaders, watching the screens that showed the enemy fleet. They're positioning for attack, General Lee said, just as Nara predicted. The Vorx ships had arranged themselves in a perfect pentagon formation. According to Nara, this was their standard attack pattern, unchanging and predictable, but devastatingly effective due to their superior technology. All defense units in position, reported a young officer. Civilian shelters at 98% capacity. President Park nodded. Then we proceed as planned. General, you have command. As the military leaders began giving orders, June turned to Nara. You don't have to do this, he said quietly. This isn't your fight. Nara's skin flickered with blue patterns. It became my fight when they destroyed my ship, when they killed my people. She paused. When I met you. Before June could respond, General Lee approached them. Kim, you're our expert on the resonance weapons. You'll join Strike Team Alpha. He turned to Nara. We need you in the command ship to help coordinate the attack. No, Nara said firmly. I go with June, the general frowned. This isn't a discussion. We need your knowledge. My knowledge goes where I go, Nara interrupted. Vorx tactics may change. You need me to help adapt if they do. June was surprised by her boldness. The quiet, cautious Nara he had rescued was showing a new side of herself. After a moment, the general nodded. Fine, but stay alive, both of you. We're counting on this plan working. 20 minutes later, June and Nara boarded a small, fast attack ship with 10 other crew members. It was one of 30 similar ships that would execute the most dangerous part of Earth's defense plan. Captain Hana, a tough-looking woman with short hair, greeted them. Welcome aboard the Thunderbolt. Hope you bring us luck. We bring more than luck, June replied. We bring a plan. The crew quarters were cramped with barely enough room for everyone. As they prepared for battle, June checked the resonance weapon installed on the ship. It looked simple, just a small cylinder attached to the main weapon system, but it had taken hundreds of scientists working nonstop to create it. Will it work? Asked Nara, watching him. Honestly, I don't know, June admitted. It worked, in tests, but this is different. Real Vorx shields might be stronger. The concept is sound, Nara said. The execution is... She searched for the right word. Human. June smiled slightly. I'll take that as a compliment. Attention all crew. Captain Hana's voice came over the speakers. The Vorx have started their attack. Earth's main fleet is engaging as planned. We launch in 5 minutes. Get to your stations. June and Nara made their way to the bridge. Through the view screen, they could see flashes of light as Earth's largest ships exchanged fire with the Vorx fleet. It looked like a fireworks display, but each flash meant destruction and death. Our ships are being torn apart, one officer said quietly. That's the plan, Captain Hana reminded them. They think we're fighting conventionally. They don't know about us yet. The small attack ships were hidden behind Earth's moon, waiting for the right moment. When the Voreks were fully engaged with Earth's main fleet, the attack ships would strike from behind. "Launch all ships!" came the order from command. "Execute Attack Plan Delta!" The Thunderbolt shot forward, its engines pushing everyone back into their seats. 29 other ships launched with them, forming a loose swarm that raced toward the battle. "Remember," June told the weapons officer, "the resonance weapon needs 3 seconds of continuous contact with their shields to work. You need to stay on target." "In a battle, 3 seconds is an eternity," the officer replied grimly. As they approached the massive Vorek ships from behind, Nara pointed to one of them. "That one. The command ship. It controls the others." Captain Hana nodded and relayed the information to the other attack ships. 10 of them, including the Thunderbolt, adjusted course to target the Vorek's command ship. "They've spotted us," the sensor officer announced. "Enemy ships turning to engage." The Vorek's vessels began to pivot slowly. They were huge and powerful, but not very agile. This was one human advantage. Their smaller ships could move quickly and change direction faster. "Evasive maneuvers," ordered Captain Hana. "Get us in close." The Thunderbolt dived and rolled, avoiding the deadly energy beams that the Vorek ship fired at them. 2 other human ships weren't so lucky. They exploded in brilliant flashes their crews lost instantly. "We're within range," the weapons officer said. "Ready to fire resonance weapon." "Fire!" ordered Captain Hana. A pale blue beam shot out from the Thunderbolt, connecting with the Vorek ship's shields. The shields glowed purple where the beam hit them. "Hold steady," June said tensely. 3 seconds. The ship shook violently as a Vorek's energy blast grazed them. "Shields down to 40%, someone shouted. 2 seconds, June counted. "Hold it." Another violent shake. Warning lights flashed across the bridge. 3 seconds. "Now," June called. The weapons officer pressed a button, sending a pulse through the beam. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a small section of the Vorek shield began to ripple strangely. "It's working," Nara exclaimed, her skin glowing brightly with excitement. "The shields are destabilizing." The ripple spread across the Vorek shield like cracks in ice. Suddenly, the shield collapsed completely around one section of the massive ship. "All ships target that breach," Captain Hana ordered. 5 human ships fired conventional weapons at the exposed section of the Vorek's command ship. Explosions bloomed against the dark hull. "Direct hits," the weapons officer reported. "We're damaging them." But the victory was short-lived. The Vorek ship released dozens of smaller fighter craft that swarmed toward the human attack ships. "Incoming fighters," warned the sensor officer. "Too many to evade. All hands brace for impact." Captain Hana ordered. The Thunderbolt rocked violently as enemy fire struck it from multiple directions. Systems failed across the ship, and smoke filled the bridge. "Weapons offline. Engines failing," reported an officer through the smoke. "Captain," Hana looked grim. "Prepare to abandon ship." "Wait," Nara said suddenly. She pointed to the screen showing the damaged Vorek's command ship. "Look." The section they had hit was spreading a strange pattern across the ship's hull, like veins of light growing outward from the wound. "What's happening?" June asked. "Their power systems are connected," Nara explained quickly. "The damage is spreading through the ship's network. It's cascading." The patterns of light on the Vorek ship grew brighter, spreading faster. Suddenly, secondary explosions began erupting all across its hull. "Their weapons are overloading," Nara said. "The resonance effect. It's affecting their entire power grid." The bridge crew watched in amazement as the mighty Vorek's command ship began to break apart. Huge sections tore away, spinning into space. "Command ship is going down," Captain Hana announced to the fleet. "Repeat, enemy command ship is destroyed." Cheers erupted across the bridge, but June noticed something else on the screens. "The other Vorek ships," he said. "They're acting strangely." The remaining 4 Vorek's vessels had stopped attacking. They moved erratically, as if confused. They were linked to the command ship, Nara explained. "Without it, they don't know what to do." Their minds are connected in a network like their ships. Then this is our chance, Captain Hana said. She opened a channel to the fleet. All ships with functional weapons target the remaining Vorx vessels now while they're disoriented. The battle turned quickly. With the Vorx fleet in disarray, Earth's ships pressed their advantage, using the resonance weapons on the remaining enemy vessels. One by one, the massive Vorx ships were crippled or destroyed. As the last Vorx ship turned to flee, a cheer went up across all Earth communications channels. Victory seemed impossible just hours before, but humans had once again defied the odds. In the damaged bridge of the Thunderbolt, June turned to Nara. Through the smoke and flickering lights, he could see her silver eyes wide with wonder. "Impossible," she whispered. "You did the impossible." "We did it," June corrected her, taking her hand. "Together." As rescue ships approached to evacuate the damaged Thunderbolt, June and Nara stood side by side, watching the remains of the Vorx, fleet burning up in Earth's atmosphere like falling stars. "It's not over," Nara said softly. "There will be more Vorx ships. They will return. And we'll be ready," June replied. "Now we know they can be beaten." For the first time since he had known her, Nara smiled fully, a bright, joyful expression that made her whole face glow. "Yes," she agreed, "now we know." 2 weeks had passed since the battle with the Vorx fleet. Earth was still celebrating its victory, but the joy was mixed with caution. As Nara had warned, more Vorx ships would come eventually. Earth had won a battle, not the war. June sat in a meeting room at the United Nations building in New York. Around the large table sat leaders from every major nation, along with scientists and military officials. At the center of attention was Nara, who stood next to a holographic display showing star maps. "The Vorx control this region of space," she explained, pointing to a large red area on the map. "But they are not the only advanced species in our galaxy. There are others who have avoided the Vorx for centuries." "And these other species?" asked the Secretary General. "Would they be willing to help us?" Nara's skin flickered with thoughtful patterns of blue light. "They have been hiding, afraid to fight, but now that humans have proven the Vorx can be defeated, some might join you." "How do we contact them?" asked President Park. "I can provide coordinates for hidden Lumen outposts," Nara said. "My people have records of other species' locations. We have watched and listened for generations, though we rarely made contact." The meeting continued for hours as they discussed plans for Earth's defense and possible alliances with other species. Nara answered countless questions about alien technology and cultures. Through it all, June watched her with pride. The shy, frightened alien he had rescued from the escape pod was now standing confidently before Earth's leaders, helping shape the future of human-alien relations. When the meeting finally ended, June and Nara walked outside. It was a warm spring day in New York. Cherry trees were blooming in the plaza outside the UN building, their pink petals drifting in the gentle breeze. "Your world is beautiful," Nara said, looking up at the trees. "So much life, so much color." "It's your world now too, if you want it to be," June said. Nara looked at him. "What do you mean?" "The president asked me to tell you that Earth is officially offering you asylum. You can stay here permanently." Nara's skin brightened with emotion. I would like that." They walked through the park, watching children play and couples sitting on benches. Normal life had resumed surprisingly quickly after the battle. Humans were good at adapting, at finding normalcy even after extraordinary events. "The UN is also creating a new position," June continued. "Ambassador to non-Earth species. They want you to take it." Nara stopped walking. "Me? But I'm not human." "That's exactly why it should be you. You understand both sides. You can help us build bridges between our worlds." For a long moment, Nara was silent, her skin pulsing with rapid patterns that showed her deep emotion. "I never imagined such a role for myself. I was a scientist, studying stars. Now I would study people instead." "Is that a yes?" June asked, with a smile. "Yes," Nara said. "I will accept this honor." They continued walking, coming to a small lake where ducks swam peacefully. The contrast between this calm scene and the battle they had survived was striking. "And what about you?" Nara asked. "What will you do now?" "I've been offered a position too," June said. "Head of the new Interspecies Technology Exchange Program. We'll be working together." "Together?" Nara repeated softly. "I would like that very much." There was something different in her voice that made June look at her more closely. Over the past weeks, as they worked side by side to help Earth prepare for future contact with aliens, their bond had grown stronger, but neither had spoken openly about their feelings. "Nara," June said, gathering his courage, "there's something I need to tell you." "Yes?" "In my culture, when two people care deeply for each other, they—" He was interrupted by a sudden commotion. People were pointing up at the sky. June and Nara looked up to see a strange ship descending slowly toward the open area of the park. It was unlike any ship June had ever seen before, with smooth curves and a pearly surface that shifted colors in the sunlight. "Lumen," Nara whispered, her eyes wide. "It's a Lumen ship." Security personnel quickly surrounded the area. Weapons ready. But June called out, "Hold your fire, they're friendly." The ship landed gently on the grass. A door opened in its side, and 3 figures emerged. They looked similar to Nara, with blue skin and silver markings, though their patterns were different. Nara stepped forward, her skin glowing brighter than June had ever seen it. She spoke in her native language, a series of musical sounds that the translator couldn't fully capture. The 3 Lumen responded, their skins also glowing with patterns. One of them, who appeared older than the others, approached Nara and placed a hand on her shoulder in what seemed to be a gesture of great respect. After several minutes of conversation, Nara turned to June. "They received my message. After the battle, I sent a signal to the nearest Lumen outpost telling them what happened. These are representatives of the Lumen High Council." The elder Lumen spoke, and the translator converted his words. "We have watched from hiding for too long. The human victory has given many species new hope. The Lumen wish to form an alliance with Earth." News of the Lumen arrival spread quickly. By nightfall, it was the top story worldwide. More alien ships arrived. In the following days, representatives from species that had been hiding from the Vortex for generations. Each brought their own technology and knowledge, offering to share with humans in exchange for protection and alliance. 1 month later, a grand ceremony was held at the newly created Interstellar Diplomatic Center in Geneva. Representatives from 7 alien species stood with human leaders as they signed the first Galactic Alliance Treaty. Nara, as Earth's ambassador to non-Earth species, was at the center of it all. After the ceremony, June and Nara stood on the observation deck of the building, looking out at the stars becoming visible in the evening sky. "Everything has changed so quickly," Nara said. "A few months ago, I was alone in an escape pod, certain I would die. Now I stand at the beginning of a new age for multiple species." "Life can change in an instant," June agreed. "Sometimes for the worse, but sometimes for the better." He reached into his pocket and took out a small box. "Remember when we were interrupted in the park? There was something I wanted to tell you." "I remember," Nara said, her skin glowing softly. "In human culture, we have something called love. It's a feeling stronger than friendship, stronger than alliance. It's when you care so deeply for someone that your happiness is tied to theirs." "We have this in Lumen culture too," Nara said. "We call it soul light. When one being's inner light resonates with another's." June opened the box, revealing a simple jade pendant on a silver chain. "This belonged to my grandmother. She wanted you to have it." Nara's skin flashed with bright patterns of joy and surprise. "It's beautiful. But why would she give me something so precious?" "Because she knows how I feel about you," June said simply. "Because she sees what I see, that some connections transcend differences of world or species." He took the pendant and gently placed it around Nara's neck. Against her blue skin, the green jade seemed to glow with its own light. "Some would say this is impossible," Nara said softly. "A human and a Lumen. but humans specialize in making the impossible possible. June reminded her with a smile. And isn't that why the galaxy is changing now? Because beings from different worlds found connection? Nara touched the pendant, then reached for June's hand. Your people have a saying, I think, that the stars aligned to bring us together. We do say that, June replied, and in our case, it's literally true. As they stood together, looking out at the stars that had once seemed so vast and empty, but now promised new connections and discoveries, Nara leaned her head against June's shoulder. New beginnings, she whispered. For all of us, June agreed, putting his arm around her. And in that moment, as representatives of 7 species discussed the future inside the building behind them, the impossible romance between a human man and an alien woman didn't seem impossible at all. It seemed like exactly what the universe had intended all along,